Hey guys, another apex.world for Dummies show. Today I have Matt Nolan, good old friend and Forex founder. And we talk about your new commercially supported plugin. What's the name again? This long name.
It's the file upload and image editor.
So actually the name tells you what it is.
Exactly. So we haven't gone for anything really posh marketing style or anything like that. We're just describing the functionality.
Okay. So maybe explain a little bit what it's new with the commercially supported plugins. So you came up and say, hey guy, this is what we have. We want to have plugins where we give the end users support and upgradability to next Apex versions, right? Like, I mean, if you have a piece of software in your project, you want to be sure that this is still working in the next version of Apex, which coming out 2 times a year now. So if you just install an arbitrary plugin from some dude and your project is not working anymore in the next Apex version and everything gets delayed and maybe you have it in different applications and you have to replace it or the developer is not there anymore. You know, I went through all this hassle. We all know the problems. It would be great to have a company on the side to call and say, or even ask, is there a new version or is it working for 21? And if you say, yes, it's working for 21, so I can sleep again, right? This is the thing why we also created now a section in apex.world plugins, commercially supported plugins, which was the idea of you, coming from you, and we worked it out together. And so you can upload your plugin to apex.world, and you just use the same method like you did with the regular plugins. You create this GitHub account and generate a JSON file. But the only difference is you don't have to post your source code there, of course, right? Because it's your ownership and but everything else just is the same, right? And then you have a nice green marker and you can filter in apex.world out of the 220 plugins which are safe to use. Let me put it this way, because you can be sure that there are bug fixes and change requests and compatibility issues solved.
Well, that's right. I mean, the main purpose of plugins at the end of the day is to ensure that you don't actually have to do the work. So you get the functionality. It's just like using regular Apex. It's just an extension of it. It's declarative. It's fast to develop. I mean, that's the main reason why we use plugins.
Yeah.
All right. What stopped us before is, or stopped some companies, is making sure that it's supported. That, you know, that it's not just going to work today. It's going to work next month, next year. And it's still going to work in 5 years' time, because you've got a company providing that support and that upgrade path for you. So, you know, we've been in the plugin business for over 8 years now. You know,
didn't know.
Well, a long time. Yeah. Well, obviously.
No, seriously, I mean, I know it from the very start, right?
Yes, I know. And
you
before
are the
that,
you are the guy on this planet who created the most plugins, and I think you will die with this title.
Well, it's not just me anymore. There's a team of us now. So, you know, it's quite good that I can delegate, that I don't have to do everything anymore. But the thing about, you know,
so give me a number. How many plugins have you done in your life?
Myself personally, I think.
Or where you work with, you know, where you were involved.
Yeah. Well, you know, like it's around, you know, just under 200.
So guys, this is the bar, right? If you want to break Matt's record, aim for 200 plugins.
it's not about records though. I mean, the reason why there's so many in our Forex plugin framework is because we're trying to solve a lot of problems. You know, we're essentially taking Apex to a different level of providing so many settings, so many declarative options, that for a lot of people getting started with it, it's quite overwhelming, because it is really now an enterprise type product. So, but the other thing too,
but did the development team ever approach you and say, hey, Matt, can you make the plugins with Oracle, saying, we also want to have another 200 plugins, so please please
No,
join. And
no, I think they probably saw like the amount of effort and how much support, like and so many things going into it. It probably scared them off. So I don't think it's ever been on their radar to go to the level of what we have. I mean, I still remember, like asking David Peake back in like 2009, where's the enterprise version of Apex? Where's something where we're going to get so much more declarative stuff? Like, the thing that always I found amazing was the interactive report. When they first
yeah,
landed,
it still
the
is.
functionality.
People
Well,
are
that's
still
right.
people are still amazed with the inactive report. What? Can do everything with it. I can't believe it.
Well, that's the thing. Saving all these reports, and it's a component like that. Like that has just made so many solutions possible.
Yeah,
It's quick to create.
yeah,
And like the impact that one component like that's had on the world, that's had on businesses, is huge. And that's where we see it as like, well, hey, that's just one component. What if you had 10, 20, 30 of those? And this is kind of where we are as a business, is trying to provide these feature-rich solutions that solve a lot of problems and just make everything much easier. So coming back to the
yeah.
image editor, like, which
Exactly.
is
What
kind
was
of
the
like the
idea
topic.
behind it? What is the problem? Why should I care?
Well, I mean, the reason for it is, look, I use where the inspiration came from was we've got a customer support forum, okay, and we're forever, providing support, and we're having to provide screenshots. We also want to highlight several things on a screenshot, and upload this image, and have it displayed within the forum. So, like I use a product called Sketch from Evernote, and it's extremely useful. So are we able to share screens here? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
should
Go
I
ahead.
should I actually
Yeah,
show?
sure. Please do.
Let me just see if I can bring it up.
When I see your wall with all the paintings, I remember my door, my office door, where my daughter put all the stickers onto it. It looks
Yeah, I mean,
similar.
like, I've been meaning to redecorate for some time, and basically, okay, actually, here it is over here. Okay, all right. So I just took a screenshot and I've pasted it in here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just get that fitting right. What have I done? Anyway, it's gone a bit big, but the whole thing is we can draw on this. We can add some arrows,
Mm-hmm.
all right, and we can put some text on here. All right, so this is the thing that we've got with Sketch. We can annotate these images, all right, and then basically we've got this little, so we can drag it and we can drop that file. All right, so there it was on my desktop. It's available over here now. So if I double click on that, there we go. We've got the image edited. All right, and so we were putting that in our forum. So if I was just to show you our forum, if I was just to jump here, if I was just to ask a question, oh, session's expired. Let me just refresh. All right, let me just say I'm going to answer something. Okay, all right. First, I got to log in.
I see it now.
Obviously, you can tell I was really prepared for this particular one.
But you're fast.
It should be fast.
Only a few people who can do live stuff on presentations. This is Shakib, and you are also very fast.
All right. So what we do here is we just drop that.
Okay, hold a minute. Now, where are we now? This is
all right.
Next thing. Where are we now? What do we see?
Well, we're in the forum. Okay.
Yeah,
so
the forum is made of. Is this
yeah, this is an Apex application. Apex
now
application.
we're talking. Okay.
All right. So we've got the CK editor there.
Yeah.
All right. So basically,
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to be replying on someone's question. You can see here they've annotated the image here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we're replying, doing the same thing, dropping the image in, it's already there. So it's just all external. We rely on an external tool of Sketch.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I might be actually on my tablet or on my phone because it is a support forum. And it's not just me, it's the other guys. I'm not the only one answering on this. thank God, you know, like I delegate as much as I can and try to get the other guys to answer as much as possible. Just because, you know, I like to do as little as possible if I can. But the thing is that we want it to work across all devices, all right? And we want to just be able to, you know, easily get the job done. So the whole thing about this business requirement, I mean, like so many people are, you know, like capturing, you know, images on their phone or taking a screenshot on your desktop. You know, there's so many different ways you can get an image. And of course, you know, you want to point something out with it, you know, and there's nothing easier than annotating it and to get the point across. That's the whole point. So when you talk about business cases for it, you know, like for us, this was just a simple one, but, you know, we've also got customers that have different requirements. So, you know, like there's one that has got an application that works for a hire car company. So, you know, like they're hiring cars. Basically, they want to point out, you know, like something, you know, on the car, you know, where the scratches are, where the dents are. Usually it was on a paper form and you just, you know, circle something and make some notes. Well, now you would just take a picture with your phone, edit it, you know, like put a little circle around it, you know, put a note on there of, you know, the damage, and you take several of these and upload it. So that's basically one business requirement. And there are other ones as well. We're working with a you know, a healthcare institution where they're doing screenings basically, and they need to point things out on an area, you know, like on this screening on an image of where the issues are as well. So that's slightly different, is instead of using just drawing capabilities, and I probably should bring up the product as well. That would make more sense so people can see it. Okay, so here it is here. All right, so we saw before I was using Sketch, okay, which, you know, like is this desktop application.
Yep.
All right, if I just go to the demos, okay, so we're just going to upload a file to the collection.
Okay, you load the thing into a collection.
Well, I mean, we've got different upload capabilities. You can upload directly to a table. You can upload to a collection. You can upload to the file system. You know, and in the future, you'll be able to upload using a web service. Okay. So I just took a screenshot. Let me just get rid of the existing one here. Close that. All right. So we can also just paste directly from the clipboard. All right, with this plugin. All right, is that we upload the image. As you can see, the progress.
So you upload it now into the database.
It's uploaded into the database, and now we've got the ability to edit it. So we click on the edit button. All right, so this is all within the Apex application. All right, so we can actually, you know, change the skew. You know, we could filter the image, you know, like, and we could actually go for a black and white view if we wanted to. Okay, you could change.
Looks like a newspaper. Let me think of a new, not a dark mode, but a newspaper mode. Everything is black white.
So we could draw on there, you know, like if we wanted to. I mean, obviously that drawing's a bit ugly there, but you can change the colors of these as well.
And it's also working on the iPad. That means you can use your pencil to do that.
Well, you'll use your finger basically.
But if you have a pencil, it's working with a pencil.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, like if you've got one of those notepad type
it's
style.
not that new anymore. It's 3 years old. So people with an iPad, with the iPad Pro, they probably have a pencil.
So when you click done, it automatically merges that and uploads it back to the database. Okay, so once it's there, you know, we can download it. All right, and if I click on the image, for some reason, you know, my laptop, you know, it's a 2015 MacBook. I'm due to replace it. It seems like when it's running with Zoom.
Don't buy the 16-inch. I'm struggling with it every day.
Are you?
No, yeah, I'm doing.
Okay. All right. So there's the image there. So I mean, we can see that, you know, we've annotated it and it's uploaded, and we can download it in the database. We refresh the report here.
Makes sense.
Okay, so one of the
But
other
you
things that
also, let me ask one question. So what always is an issue is the, you know, the format, the size, right? Can you, change the format or maybe reduce the file size that you know what I
yes,
mean?
so there are some certain options that we've got. Okay, so basically, like in the advanced initialization JavaScript code, you can do some automatic transformations, which is resizing the images. You can add a
Mm-hmm.
watermark. You can even change it to grayscale, or do a bunch of them if you want to, or change the format. But also, you can enable file compression as well, so you can actually
Okay. Mm-hmm.
compress the file. So you can automatically reduce the size of the file as
If
well
you,
when it gets loaded.
if I'm seeing this initialization code JavaScript, do I have to do this as a developer or is this part of the plugin?
Well, as the developer, you would just sort of copy that text and just paste it into the initialization code and just tweak the settings for it. So you would just change the source to your application image to your file. So, I mean, because the one thing about Apex, there's only 25 attributes, for the plugin.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the one downside at the moment to, there are limitations in Apex as to what we can do. These
Mm-hmm.
are sort of the advanced sort of features that you're talking about.
Like with
And
interactive grid, right? We also have some kind of
exactly, but we're not going
initialization
to that
JavaScript.
point. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty much what you need to do is already documented here. So there's not really that much code that you need to write. It's just a snippet which you'll copy and tweak. All right, and like I said before, we've got different upload methods that we can do too. The form data is actually really fast. You've got multiple different destinations. You can even upload with custom PL SQL code. You can
Wait
also
a minute. Don't go through that too fast. That looks interesting. Can you go back to upload method? Tell me all about it.
Well, form data is just a multi-part file submit. So it's like it's basically like a file upload, proper file upload. Okay. Whereas the chunk one is kind of like base 64 encoded. All right. So it was more chunked uploads would be for older, like embedded PL SQL gateway. It would also be on sites where you might be restricted on file size, where you can sort of work around that with a chunked upload.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So obviously form data
Mm-hmm.
is the default,
Okay.
and because of that, we can stream it.
Mm-hmm.
So which just means we can upload it much faster. All right, which is multiple streams uploading the file at the same time. So it's
What
really
do you mean, uploading the file in different streams or uploading multiple pictures?
no uploading a single file in multiple streams. Okay, so it's just a faster way to get your data up there. So if you've
Mm-hmm.
got if you've got a good network connection, you can get your file up there way faster with more
Mm-hmm.
streams. So and then we've just got all the different different options here. You can instantly upload the file, or you can
Mm-hmm.
uncheck that, so you don't need to. You can show
This would
image
mean if I'm
previews.
not instantly uploaded, I just see it in the browser, can manipulate it and then say save.
Well, that's right. Just so you understand what that actually means here is, all right, if I just paste it here. All right, so we automatically open up the image editor. That's a setting you can choose. All
Mm-hmm.
right, and just say you perform some sort of adjustment. You click done. Okay, it's not uploaded yet. You've
Mm-hmm.
got a little button here to say, do you want to upload? So, for some
Mm-hmm.
people, I mean, obviously you would train your users because this is not, like normally what you'd expect. But if you just wanted to, not instantly upload it, make sure it's able to do it on demand.
Yeah.
That option's there. So it's
Okay.
not a common use option, I would say, but it's just the ability that you've got it there. And that's what I mean. We have customers with many different requirements. Obviously, what we're trying to do is always facilitate, very flexible type solutions. And again, this is the first release, so there will be, more and more features added to it over
Mm-hmm.
time. So that's the thing about plugins is that they're never, you know, not updated. They evolve. Because as people start using them, people have different requirements. And that's the one great thing about like when you buy into a plugin, whether it's commercial or open source, if it's actively developed, you know, you're going to get access to all those features, just like you are with Apex. You know, when
Yeah,
Apex
sure.
is getting upgraded, you're getting all those extra features for free. You know, and that's where I'd say plugins are almost like just like a mini type of Apex at the end of the day. You know, like you've got
Yeah, it's a
like
little
this.
product.
It is, and as you can see, you know, like you know, this is almost like a program. You know, we've got on our desktop, you know, an actual app to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, which is Sketch, and this is just a plugin within Apex. So that's kind of where we sort of see, you know, and where we sort of work within that space is that we try to provide solutions that are like apps that are, you know, we're looking to be more in terms of providing desktop-like functionality just in Apex.
So what JavaScript library do you use?
All right, so that's a very good question. So we actually sub-license this from a company in the Netherlands called Bakina. All right, and basically, you know, the reason for it is that because we don't want to have to write all the code and support this ourselves. I mean, like there's like 10,000 hours that's gone into
Yeah,
creating this thing.
no doubt.
All right,
No
so
doubt about it.
you know, we're an integration company, and you know, obviously doing some of the work as well. So, you know, we might extend some of the components that we license as well. But the thing about this one, it's got a great roadmap. You know, there's a lot of features that are coming. You know,
So you
we've got a
basically check the market and see, okay, what's out there on JavaScript libraries, and you decided, okay, this looks, it's the most promising and
but by
stable.
far. I mean, there were open source solutions, but for us, you know, like we're not looking for that because we don't get the support that we need.
Yeah,
You know,
see,
and
it's the same
obviously
thing, right? It
yeah.
goes down the line all the time. So if you have a real project going on with the customer where you get money for it and the customer pays money for it and it should live a couple of years, you probably want to use components that are also supported and live for a couple of years. And the same for you, right? When you look for a JavaScript library, you also look for a product where you can pay money and be sure these people survive and bring out new features, bug fixes, yeah, and new versions.
Well, that's right. I mean, you know, realistically, at the end of the day, development only survives as long as someone's paying the bills.
Yep.
You know, so you can't work for free. I mean, like nothing works like that. But you know, on their website too, there's different solutions that we can come up with as well. So this is actually just editing a profile image. All right, so you can do things like this of, you know, like cropping a circle, you know, like and you know, you can restrict what options are available as well. So you know, like we can add in a display image. So you've got your profile image, okay, like within your application, and you can just change it, upload it, edit
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
crop it, those sort of things. So there's some flexibility and a roadmap that we've sort of got for introducing new features for the plugin as well. And the same thing is we're providing an image gallery. So you're uploading all these images and you kind of just want to see them in a nice gallery. So that's something that we're looking at introducing as well. So we're very much focused on the front end side of things. You know, like, and again, you know, because this is back commercially, you know, we have a OEM license agreement with it, with the company. All right. So also means is that we've got, you know, like first rate support. But of course, you know, like this, if you were just to use this plugin within your Apex application, you still have to license it because it's, you know, it is a really great piece of software.
Okay, let's talk about money. So you have an OEM license from these guys, right? Made a deal with them and say, hey guys, we want to resell this with a shell called Apex plugin.
Yes.
Right. And if you can also buy directly from them, but then you just have the JavaScript library and you have to integrate everything by yourself, which
That's
you
right.
probably don't want to do
Well,
because
there's a
you're
fair
in the
bit of
same
time.
then you're in the same situation. You have to do it once and then you have to upgrade it for every Apex version, blah, blah, blah. You know. All right. So where is your price? So
All right. So that was their price. If we go into our price, okay, we have the pricing here. All right, which is, so we just charge a bit extra on top for the license that they provide. If we have a look at what's included. All right, so for a Developer Plus license, you get to use it in
what
unlimited
is a
apps.
developer license, a developer plus license? Tell me all about it.
Well, the difference between a developer license is just you can use it in a single application. because the thing with this particular plugin is that you might not have a lot of use cases for it. It is a little bit niche, so
Yeah.
we just have an entry level
Yeah.
price
True.
per year for that.
Mm-hmm.
Developer Plus is unlimited apps, because the
Mm-hmm.
other thing too is with the way people purchase things as well too, is that like they're like, well, to save money, we're just going to get one developer to purchase this, and he's responsible for putting it and managing it in all the applications. All right, and then of course we also have a company level license. Just means that you have unlimited developers, unlimited apps that you can use it in. So when you look at our prices compared to the price here, it's not a lot of difference that you're going to see. And the thing that I would say is that in terms of, all right, we've done the integration for it, but there's a fair bit of work because we've done all the back-end saving. So basically when you create and add the plugin to your page, like it takes like 2 minutes to do it.
Let's hope you earn much more money than the difference, because
Well,
otherwise it wouldn't work, right?
of course, like, and don't worry about us, Jürgen. We know how to operate. We're 8 years and running. Like we're profitable,
Great.
and the whole point
Always
is,
good.
yeah, you don't, obviously you don't want to rip people off. All right, we priced it at a point which like is profitable for
And
us.
which you probably not can. This is, like you said, a niche product. If somebody's needing it, he really needs it, but it's not a thing that everybody like. AOP, for example, everybody wants to do some export in Excel or PDF export anyway, but this is something you really want to have. But if you know that it's there, which I know right now, I didn't look into it just because I want to talk to you completely objectively. I've never looked into it before because I knew we wanted to do this thing together. I just wanted to look at it fresh and coming up with my questions immediately. Since I know that it's there, I can offer it, right? I can have it, bring it on a table if we get a new project, say, oh, can you do this? I can say, yes, you can. And I have a safe feeling now, that it's not just let's say it, a crappy plugin from some dude, and it's working once, and once you have a different requirement, this is gone, right? So it's a safe way to offer this functionality with the Apex project now. This is my feeling I get, right? Because I know you guys for many, many years. I know you in person, and this is what you do for a living anyway. So like you said, you are up and running for 8 years now with Forex, so you know how to survive and keeping solutions up for many, many years, right?
That's right. And I mean, for customers, there's all different sorts of customers. Some, like have urgent requirements and, are willing to pay, for customizations. The thing that we can offer too is for some, situations, we offer discounts because everyone's going to get the functionality. So it basically improves the quality of the product. It makes it, it might introduce new features that might entice new customers as well. So we're always able to be flexible on what it costs to actually do the development as well. So and because we've got a large code base, we've done a lot of solutions. We've got a good team. We've got experts in the team where we can get stuff done.
What's the difference with Dimitri's AME thing he provided recently here? So I also did a talk like that with Dimitri a month ago, I guess. What's the difference between the two solutions?
Well, the difference, is we've focused on the front end. Like the funny thing about it. Hold on, I seem to. There we go. I'm just logging back in. Oh, it's blocked. That's great. But the difference between ours and Dimitri.
It's hard that that you have to know it like that, right? You should talk to Peter if you're still in the company.
I know. No, I've got LastPass. It's automatically filling in it, and like we've got a button here to disable the login. This is the thing about demos, is that I always want it to be easy to log in. All right, I think I can actually log in now and it should work fine. There we go. All right, so I just got a bit flustered there because you're talking about Apex Media Extension. All right, so the difference between us is we're focused on the front end. You know, like it was interesting actually seeing Apex Media Extension get released because we'd started work on this and we were like, oh, what's that going to be? Because Dimitri didn't give a lot of details, and we were sort of like, oh, I wonder if that's going to, you know, run into what we're doing. And it doesn't matter if it does anyway, because competition is always good. But they're focused on the back end processing. They're looking at replacing multimedia.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, we're focusing on the purely on the front end.
They also have a front end part, a similar front end part, but I think it's a completely different approach or JavaScript library behind it. But as you said, it's more an add-on, a goodie to the whole solution. The whole solution. This is just my feeling. Sorry, Dimitri, if I got it right, but wrong. But my feeling is it's 80% backend solution and 20% this thing on top if you need it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the thing, you know, we've compared the file editor. You know, we had a look at considering using existing drop zone, and we chose the new file editor because it's got more performance capabilities. It's got the native file uploading. It's got a bunch of things that we could take advantage of. It's not to say that we're doing it better. It's just the reason why we chose it. Again, you know, like we made all these decisions before we even saw Apex Media Extension. So, but again, the front end side of things, we don't want any dependencies. So we want just to be able to install the plugin and start using it. And again, you know, with a roadmap, you know, we want to look at adding thumbnail support, you know, so you can generate several different sizes. So we're focused on performance, because some images that you take with your camera, if I just run a demo, you know, I'll just show you what it looks like on the mobile device. I'll just open up developer tools, because Chrome will be able to give me I'll just get this in a separate window. All right, so let me just get that screenshot again. Sorry, I'm not doing it as fast as I should now, am I?
If I'm able, I'm cutting it out.
Well, that's good. Yeah, you do that. All right, so it's just to show that you know, like this is going to work, because we've focused on making sure it works on all the devices. So that's something important as well. We looked at these other open source ones, and they didn't have the capability to present the image editor the way that we wanted it to on mobile devices. So you can see it here that it changes, you know, the buttons, all right, and it automatically, you know, you can still do everything in the same thing. You can see here is if you're touching it. All right, if you're doing some drawing.
All right.
You know, yep. So it works on mobiles really well. So coming back to Apex Media Extension, like you said, there's backend processing. If they do come up with the image editing capability, well, you know, that's for their customer base, and it's up to everybody to choose what works best for them. So, I mean, if you've already got Apex Media Extension, well, it would make sense to just use what they've got, obviously. All right, but it all comes back to requirements at the end of the day and evaluating what works best for your situation.
All right.
So that was that product. So thanks very much for allowing me to.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
the
community is interested in stuff like that, right? It's everything that is coming out new, which is kind of a product or like this, commercially supported plugin. Yeah, we should be interested because this is something we can offer in our projects in a safe way, right? And like I, you can stop screen sharing probably.
Yep. Okay.
And I see you better. Yeah. For example, I got a fixed price project at Siemens just because Dimitri provided AOP, and we were the only one who could export PowerPoint. And all other vendors got kicked out because we were the only ones. It's like that, right? If you are in a negotiation with the customer and say, well, we need to have an image files we need to upload, and people should be able to do that. You say, yes, I can. Right? You can offer it with your Apex solution. So this is, I think, it's a very important thing. But we also talked about other things you are working on.
Well, that's right. We've got a few initiatives. One is because we've been community focused the whole time. Obviously, we've just been really busy, but now we've got a little bit of free time. We've got more developers on the team, so we're looking at some more open source initiatives. And one of our developers who took the lead on this project for a new browser extension for Apex is to actually edit your files in the builder. I can give you a demo of that in a second, but the purpose of this is because we basically try to do things in a centralized way. So, you know, when you're building your Apex applications and you want to add JavaScript or CSS to it, a lot of the time you'll find yourself just sticking it in the header, all right? Or you'll go to page 0 and you'll stick it on there, when instead you should really be sticking it in a file, you know, and putting it under static application files. But that's painful, you know, because you got to upload it there. If you want to make a change, well, you got to download it, edit it, and then delete it and upload it again, you know, and that's a painful process.
Or you are a pro and use Nitro.
Well, that's right. So
but then then you have to be, then you're a real pro. If you use Nitro, you're a pro.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I've used Apex Nitro in the past as well. It's great, you know, like, and that's the thing, you know, like it does the hot reloading of your files and all that sort of stuff. There's really good functionality for it, but you know, it relies on having Node.js on your laptop.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, to run it, and you know, like every now and then, like I just, you know,
nobody's doing that. Let's face it. People like me. Sorry, Vincent.
Yeah.
It's an amazing solution. You explained it to me in a show like that. I used it. I tried it. It worked, but at the customer side, right, I cannot even install anything on my Citrix client. Anything.
Yep.
So, well, I'm sticking with putting all these things in page 0 or on the page header. Right. We just lazy developers and.
Well, I mean, obviously, you're productive developers.
Yes,
is what
thank you.
try to say. You know, let's not say, because a productive developer usually is a lazy developer. Is that you want to do things, you know, as efficient as possible. So, I mean, like, obviously, I'll need to share my screen for this one. So, it's a browser extension. So, like you're saying, when you're in Citrix and stuff like that, you might not have the ability to add a browser extension to your application. You know, we plan to offer a download, so maybe you could actually, you know, go into development mode in the browser and load an unpacked version. I'm not sure if that's a possibility, but the whole point anyway is to get around this dependency, because you may, you know, be on a different laptop, you may be on your tablet, you may be, you know, like accessing through remote desktop or things like that, and you know, you don't want to have to set up Apex Nitro on all these different environments. So that's where, you know, like our developer Stefan, you know, like he was just, you know, like, hey, we've got to do something about this. It's got to be easier, you know, like, and it's kind of funny, you know, myself, you know, advising the younger guys, because I used to be the younger guy, really eager to do everything, and he was so focused because we build plugins all the time, and he goes, oh, I just want to make the files easier to manage, you know, in plugins, because that's where it started from. And I was like, oh God, don't spend all that time, you know, working on the browser extension, doing it, because, you know, how many people are actually really creating and editing plugins? There's not many. Like, it's a small percentage compared to regular developers. But, you know, when we said that we get that into static application files, and then you've got a case, all right?
Yeah.
And he was able to get it into static application files. And I think the best thing for me to do is share my screen again.
Yeah.
So
the one question up front is this plugin everybody, a browser extension everybody can use, or is it bind to Forex?
No. It's not. It's open source. It's free for everybody to use. No strings attached. It's part. Yeah, I'll explain it in a little bit of more detail in a second. Let me just share my screen again. Okay, let me just come back to here. All right. Okay, so let me just refresh the page. Am I still logged in? I am, indeed. All right, so we now have this little section here, so we can actually edit existing files. All right, so if I click on this particular file here, all right, we've got an editor now where we can edit files. So this is directly under static application files. All right, you can see it here. FOSS is the name of the browser extension. All right, FOSS stands for FOX Open Source. All right, the editor that we use in here is actually the same editor in Visual Studio Code. So, you know, like I gave a talk, you know, on building single page applications, and I talked about, well, hey, did you know that Visual Studio Code is a web sort of application built in HTML JavaScript? Because it is, we can use the editor, you know, in the builder. And the good thing is, you know, we can go into full screen mode, you know, we can make our changes, you know, like if I was to, you know, put something in here.
Oh, it's a full editor.
Yeah,
you don't
so
have to download, before you have to download your JS file, you have to open it in an external editor, you have to make the changes, upload it again, and then you see if it worked or not, right?
well, it's even more than that. But here you can see you get IntelliSense in here. Okay, so let me just get rid of that. I'll save the file. So you can tell here when it's blue dot, there's changes that need it, but you can actually minify it as well. Okay, so now that the file's minified, so you see here, you get the minified file. All right, and here's the other thing. We've got multiple files open at the same time. Okay, so you can edit and view multiple files at the same time. All right, so that's the point, is to be able to edit these JavaScript files. But you probably also want to...
It's also for CSS files, right?
Exactly. So, and, you know, we're all about, you know, writing less because it's, you want to write less CSS. All right, so if I just grab my example code. All right, so there's just some less. If I actually save it.
Say,
okay.
what is less in a nutshell?
Well, less is a preprocessor. It's basically a way to generate CSS sort of using programming techniques. So it's a combination of regular CSS with some ability to have variables and you know, functions and stuff like that to generate your actual CSS.
Out of this less file is coming real CSS, right?
Well, that's right. So if we just on the right hand corner here, we just click compile. All right, so we've compiled our file, and now we've actually got an app CSS file. Okay, so that's the CSS that got generated. All right, and the cool thing about this is that we can sort of rearrange, okay, our editor. All right, so we can have, you know, files side by side, multiple files open. So, you know, like it's starting to behave like a real editor at the end of the day. Which is what we're looking for. So that's basically it. You know, like you
we're
can.
Still in Apex, guys.
Exactly. So if I just go back here we are. You know, like still in the Apex builder. So just to show you, if we look at the browser extensions. So if we just go to the extensions here.
Where do I get it?
All right. So if you go to the
part of the Chrome
yep.
library already.
All right, Chrome Web Store. All right, and if you just do a search for FOSS, my laptop is slowing down. It's funny, yesterday I was like, I got a warning right before a meeting saying I was running out of memory. And I was like, what? I've got like, you know, 60 gig of memory. And it turned out SQL Developer was taking 60 gig of memory.
I don't know. I ordered my new laptop with just, you know, the maximum memory, and I talked to Pluggy before, and he said, "Do I really need that?" And he said, "No, you wouldn't even need half of it, which you have right now." Right? I said, "Well, I ordered it anyway, just to have twice as much as you and to bothering you." And it's working. It's working. It's bothering him a lot.
It doesn't matter, you know, how much memory you've got. If you've got a memory leak in one of your apps, you know, it's going to use all the memory at some point. So you actually having more memory just means that leak's detected much later than normal. So you can run for a bit longer with one of those.
You can download it from the Chrome Web Store.
Yep. You can use it in the latest version of IE Edge because they're now on WebKit. You can also get it from Firefox as well. If you go to the website foex.at, all right, you can get it. Just you can under our solutions. There's the Apex Builder extension, and then there'll be a couple of links. So that we've got a nice video introduction just to explain it. So you can see it in a bit more detail, and you can add it to Firefox.
Yeah, perfect.
Great,
right. Amazing, impressive.
That's it.
There was, I don't know if we can talk about it publicly, but before we started the show, we also talked about another thing you are working on. Do you want to talk about it? Can we talk about it? Can we stop the screen share? That we
well, I don't, because it's in development.
Yeah, no, can you stop the screen sharing now that I see you in full screen again?
Sorry. Well, one thing I just want to quickly show is a screen.
Okay, go ahead.
That you'll need to see. All right, so we're working on a new component, which is going to be a little bit like Trello. It's a Kanban board, but it's multifunctional and it's a checklist as well. So it'll have drag and drop capability. It's all dynamic using dynamic binding. You can see progress of your checklist items. There's a lot of great, cool things that you can do, and it's because we're building it using Svelte. Okay, so Svelte,
this is what you told me. I've never seen that.
Yeah, okay. It's the latest framework. So when people talk about Vue or React or Angular, well, the new kid on the block is Svelte. All right, and the difference between Svelte and all these other frameworks is that it's actually not a framework; it's a compiler. So it compiles your code down into vanilla JavaScript. All right, but this is what I mean about dynamic binding. All right, so considering your apex.world. All right, so you can see there as you were changing stuff, you were automatically seeing changes reflected here. So it's the same in your variables as well. You change it there.
Too much detail.
I know.
It's still already. This is an area it's not a part of the show, right? People don't know what it is, what React is.
Well, when you talk about that, this is for people just getting to know Apex and stuff like that. Yeah. That's really at the deep end side of things. But
so you're working. Will this be another commercially supported plugin then?
This one will be a commercial plugin, yes, because it's pretty much going to behave like Trello. It's very much for checklists.
Can you show
it's very versatile.
Trello that people know what it is? Okay. Because Kanban Board, some people know. I learned it very, very late.
All right, so let me just
that we can see what's coming and already have it in our mind and maybe offering it in application competitions with competitors. People say, can we do that? Yes, you can.
I just need to make sure I find a decent board just before I share my screen.
Just something to get an idea, just to give one screenshot to give an idea what we're talking about.
Okay, all right. Screen share, let me just quickly do it. I've just lost Zoom. Okay. So this is where I'm not an expert with making sure, I get the flow of everything with all these tools, and
nobody can with Zoom.
You think I'll be better at it? Okay, so the idea is that we've got these lists, okay, we can reorder the lists, all right, and that we've also got, the ability to move these items around and manage our boards. We can edit some information on there, okay, or we could, open it up and add stuff in it here. And, we can also add a checklist, which, we add something, okay, and we add a second item. And as you tick those off, things are progressing.
Great. Okay. This is a Kanban board, guys. So coming soon.
That's right. So it's probably still a couple of months in the making, because obviously, everything we work on tends to take a fair while, which is the reason why, we offer it commercially, because that's an investment at the end of the day, a fair bit of investment, because it's not just for the development, but for the ongoing roadmap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you should be apologize. You shouldn't apologize for, earning your.
Did I apologize?
And it sounds like it, right? There's this weird feeling. Oh, everything has to be open source and for free. No, it shouldn't. I
Well,
want to
I mean,
have security. I want to have a company I can talk to in 5 years from now. I want to have support for this product. They should live. I want to pay money for it and get it out of my head and say, okay, you're responsible for that, and this is working in the next Apex version. And I'm sure that you extending it, and it's otherwise just look the other way around. You have some kind of dysfunctionality in your Apex projects, and suddenly it's not working anymore, right? The next Apex version is not working. The developer, well, he's somewhere in Timbuktu and he's not caring anymore. So be my guest. Now explain to your customer, you cannot upgrade to the next Apex version. You have security issues because you need to upgrade, and the customers are used to this functionality. How do you replace it? Within a couple of days, everything is on hold, costs huge amount of money. So many people are involved. You have to find a new solution. You don't want to do that. You want to pay a little money to guys who know what they're doing and support it, period. Paying is amazing.
couldn't agree more. And I mean, to be honest, like when that happens, you'll get more and more, plugins out there, more and more apps. You'll get the ecosystem for Apex will continue to expand.
Yeah.
But I think that's what we're seeing as well, is that it's, even though we've been around for a long time, like there's still not a lot of competition out there. So, we hope that there's more competition. We hope that there's more solutions, because Oracle, like is enterprise software at the end of the day. When you look at the applications that have been built with Apex, it's running, their core applications used in many, many businesses. And then you've got a lot of little ones that are really important, like especially speed of development is super important, time to market, because everything's always constantly changing. All right. If it takes too long, you're going to abandon it. Just like this, webinar, or like this vlog that we're doing right now. I'm taking too long, and you're about to abandon me and say goodbye.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm
But
going to do.
we can't talk. We can't talk forever.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to do right now, because now we have, I think it's the office hour already going on, and Mark is showing 21 features now. I'm not.
But I mean, we're pretty much on the hour mark anyway, and that's already
perfect.
very long. Well, it's already very long.
What a great show! Thank you very much. Well, amazing. I like all the products look very professional. I like the webpage and the commercial side and everything. Looking forward for new solutions.
Well, that's the thing, and just it's just to keep in the back of your mind that when the requirement comes up, that there's a solution out there for it, rather than it having to go to a different technology to get built in. Which is obviously what we're all about. We want more things built in Apex, all right, and we don't want it going to Java or .NET, or we don't want it going to React or Angular.
More of us.
Well, that's right. So it's built on the principles of Apex super fast development. And it just works.
All right. Thanks a lot. Hope to talk to you soon.